Hello, everybody. We are live. You can find our Zoom link at XG1.org and join us live. We are discussing extraterrestrial starseed genetics project. And I will show you the screen. The website is already up and running. We are only 1 week into the project. So here is the website. Can you see it? I think you should be able to see it now. So that's the site. Do you like the picture? I think the picture is extraordinary.
Yeah.
It's created by our favorite AI, ChatGPT, with DALL-E. And essentially, starseeds are invited to submit the DNA samples along with the detailed personal histories of your experiences. And we'll do the bioinformatic analysis and DNA sequencing and investigate potential markers for extraterrestrial intelligence, extraterrestrial genes. And we'll show we will see the traces of hybridization program, and we'll give you the questionnaire, and we'll tell us your story. You'll write the story for us, and there you can tell from which race you are, if you know. And then we'll correlate your genetics with the extraterrestrial races, and we'll find the traces of the genetics and of the alien hybridization. So submit $300, the payment down below via debit card or any other way, and we'll send you the kit by mail. You'll brush your cheek from inside, put the tube in the envelope, and then send it to a genotyping service. We outsource all the chemical work. So we'll get the data, and then we will analyze the data and tell you first if there is something unusual. But once we collect tens and maybe hundreds of samples, we'll be able to correlate the alien insertions with their races, and we'll tell you which DNA sequences belong to which race. So you will know. You will have a sequence evidence of your hybridization. I think it's great. And I will repeat. So if you want to join the discussion, come here. I'll stop that. Okay. And also, like, there is, like, wait a second. I will show you other for investors. If there are investors, there is information for investors, for sponsors. And here are the people: me, Richard Miller, and David Little. And I will stop the screen sharing. I think, yeah, I'll stop screen sharing. And I will show again. Come to xg1.org and read there. There is a whole science proposal as well. And I have with me Dave Little. Dave, hi. And Dave is in Australia.
Hello, everybody.
So Dave, what do you think?
Well, it's a fantastic project, Max, and yeah, I just want to. We'll start with a little bit of a bio information.
Sure.
About yourself. I know how difficult it is talking about yourself, so it's good if somebody else does it. You can just relax, and then we'll go into some of the questions that we've got for you. And you can specifically answer all those. So Max is a PhD genome research scientist, and he specializes in DNA resonance and genome signaling. His research focuses on the oscillation of aromatic electron stacks in the DNA, proposing the cell nucleus as a biocomputer. And he explores the electrodynamics of DNA and the imprinting of DNA sequences on water. He co-founded an online club, the Huclo Human Colony, in 2013, which was the first online channeling community, which was where I first saw Max. And based on the channeling research, he wrote 2 more books about alien genetics and hybridization programs. Welcome to Earth, A Guide for Aliens in 2013, and From the Galaxy with Love, a Lightworker's textbook, which is fantastic. Max runs... I
will show the book. So that's the book which we are basing a lot of our research on the book. That's here. with Jim Charles from the Galaxy with Love, and Jim is here.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and Jim's an excellent channeler. And Max runs regular online webinars, takes interviews, conducts in-person workshops and shamanic, spiritual and healing rituals. And Max is a Reiki master and a teacher and promotes yoga and teachings of Ram Dass and Yogananda in English-speaking and Russian-speaking communities. And Max, importantly, has 30 years of mainstream science experience as an engineer and a researcher in DNA sequencing and genotyping, genetic engineering, gene regulation, psychiatric genetics, and bioinformatics. So that's just a brief bio spiel about Max, and yeah, he's a unique person, and we'd like to get into the questions. Yeah, I'm sure everybody would be interested to hear your answers, Max. So we'll start. Number one, what sparked your interest in exploring the possibility of extraterrestrial involvement in human genetics?
Right. Yep. I'll start not from the beginning, but a big part of it was Lloyd Pye, late Lloyd Pye, who went away a few years ago. I think I contacted him when I saw his webinar, but basically he had a star child skull. And as anthropologist, he could tell that the skull wasn't human. And this skull was given by some South American or Mexican shamanic people to him to research. So he got the skull and he wanted to analyze it genetically because as anthropologist, he knew that it's very likely an alien skull. So he did a little bit of genotyping at that time, a few markers. And it wasn't conclusive at the time. It was just too expensive and he didn't have funding for that. So I discussed with him. I think we met on whatever was a substitute for Zoom at that time. I think it was Google Hangouts. And I advised him how it can be done, but the question was the funding. So at that time it was too expensive and too hard. Now it's much more cheap. So one part of the project is to sequence alien skulls and some non-human skulls from the planet, because there were other races that lived here and maybe even still live here and hide among us. Like one of them is Atlanteans. Like there is we are the fifth race. There were Polarians, Hyperboreans, Lemurians, Atlanteans, and then us. And Atlanteans likely not confirmed yet, but they had elongated skulls, and we basically they went away about 20,000 years ago, and we took their place. And at some point, we will be substituted by the next sixth race, which it's not designed yet. Probably will be a hybrid race, and probably it will be with high vibration and telepathy. So it's all about the evolution which is held by the aliens. Extraterrestrial alien hybridization program had a boost. I mean, it went through from the very beginning. There were a lot of races who were landing here and created hybrids between them and local versions of human or pre-humans. And then it feels like there might be some, no? Okay, I'm just checking if there is maybe somebody joined us. Not yet. So so there is alien hybridization and there is a modern hybridization. And the modern hybridization started likely in 1954 because of the agreement between the Zetas and the allies, and Americans and other Western governments. Mostly it was English speaking, America, USA, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, I might be missing one. Yeah, one more English speaking I forgot is UK, and are and aliens. So there were like good aliens like Pleiadians and other friends who were offering light and love and light, but Zetas offered technology, and American government went after practical technology. So they got some of the technologies from them. So that started, and in exchange, the Zetas and others received the permission to do hybridization program. And I wrote about that in all three books, and this one is pretty extensive on that. And then lots of alien races kind of expanded their hybridization, and some of them worked side by side with humans. So they were like secret military forces took part in the abductions as well. So, and then they would take the genetic material, make hybrid fetuses, and then would impregnate the hosts back. So the hybrid children would be born here. So there is a lot of hybrid children. We don't know how many, but this should go by country. So probably different countries would have a little bit different genetics, alien genetics. And what percentage of population was hybridized, we don't know. It could be 0.1%, could be 1%, could be 10%, could be lots more. We don't know. That we can try, we can find out. So now about 10 days ago, Ross Coulthard announced that they have the funding for extraterrestrial research. They want to do scientific research. And as a geneticist, I just thought, how much would it cost to do to study extraterrestrial genetics, and what can be done here with existing tools? And apparently it can be done very cheaply. So for about maybe $2 million, we can do all the aims. So we invite sponsors or investors to do all the aims. And the proposal is, I have the summary of the proposal somewhere here. Oh, I lost it. Yeah, I have 14 aims here. I will explain some of them, but one of them I already explained. It was to collect some unusual skulls and to sequence the whole genome sequencing and see if we can find something unusual, different from humans and different from known primates. So here is a trick. How do you prove that it's not our ancient ancestors like from Earth, that they are different? And the proof would be from two facts. One is that the sequence should be different substantially. And second, we would do carbon dating, essentially chemical analysis, which would allow us to tell if it is super ancient skull, like over 20,000 years ago, or recent skull, under 20,000 years ago. And we know that all predecessors like Neanderthals and all different Pitheks and human hominids, which are known by science, that went extinct. Basically, humans killed all of them over 20,000 years ago. So if there is a skull which is more recent but has different genetics, that's very likely would be an alien skull. So I hope, especially I'm interested in giants and in elongated heads and all other abnormal heads, especially with big brain. So big brain would be another good indication that it's either human or alien, but not some more primitive species. So that's a skull project. And the price of one skull analysis is pretty cheap. It's under $2,000. So it's just a question of getting the name, putting out the word, and collecting the samples and sending them for analysis and doing the bioinformatics. So the main trick is to do the bioinformatics right, essentially computational analysis of the sequence. So Dave, what are your comments and questions?
Yeah, well, that was a really good answer, Max. And what do you think is the usefulness and the practical application of finding the alien sequences?
Cool. Right. So the main thing first is to legalize starseeds, to make us really noticed. Right. One part of the problem is that global mainstream consciousness is not aware of starseeds. It's only a part of us, maybe a small fraction of the Earth population who are aware, and everybody else is asleep, they're not aware. So by making it scientific, showing the sequence, publishing the sequence, we are publishing everything online, we'll publish the papers. If we discover different markers, we'll publish them so anybody could test that. And the new Starseed, they don't need to use our service, they can analyze it themselves, their markers. So that becomes a fact of science, and that should bring the hybridization program to public awareness, and that will materialize us much more. Right now, it's all sort of spiritual, vague, only for some people it's real, for other people it's all fantasy. But when it becomes more grounded into the sequence, then it's a huge step forward towards the skies, to the stars, right? Right now, it's like, as Terence McKenna was saying, that it's all just a collective delusion. It's more like a glitch in the matrix rather than something reproducible and consistent. He wasn't sure the aliens were like real. He thought it was an aberration of collective mind. So for aliens to become real, to materialize here, there should be awakening of the collective. So what goes first? The aliens show up or the collective wakes up? So if we wake up, then the aliens would materialize much more easy. That's the way the things manifest. And the other outcome is this alien disclosure and contact is coming. And by the time they come, they will land here, they will start socialize with humans. And lots of humans will want to have babies with them. So the idea of the hybrids will become, of the rights of the hybrids will become real at some point, because alien, we are implants. The hybrids are implants on the planet. Partly we are loyal to the planet, but we also partly are loyal to our alien ancestors and parents. So for us, it's important already to start developing the idea of equal rights for the hybrids and the rights for the aliens to be here. There is a lot of hybrids in the space, and also, so basically there should be some already collective mindset set up for the acceptance of the alien hybrids. And the next application is that the aliens live long lives from 400 years to over 1,000 years. They have telepathic abilities, shape-shifting abilities, especially Yael, and some of the Zetas. Some of the Greats have this shape-shifting and basically shifting out of the physical and back. Then psychic abilities, telepathic abilities, telekinetic abilities, and just good minds, good brains, just normal mental IQ, super high. So all of that is partly already in the starseeds, in the modern starseeds, and it can be discovered, it can be brought to the forefront of biology, and all of that can be implemented and basically made into the medical practice. We want to have all of that, especially telepathy. I think telepathy is the key for moving forward. When there is a telepathy, when it's developed, then it will be much less deception and much more transparency and better communication, essentially. Right? And yeah, some people argue with me that, you know, even with telepathy you can deceive, but still it's a very different level of life. Telepathic life is super different. So I think it's just more interesting, more fun. Even if there is some deception, it would be more fun.
Yeah, that's a good answer, Max. I'll continue on with the next.
Now let me just flash if somebody is watching us, xg1.org. In the first line, there is a link to Zoom. Join us and ask questions. Join us live here.
Okay, Max. What do you think are the goals of alien hybridization?
Yeah, their goals were many. The Zetas essentially are us in the future, some path of maybe parallel path of human civilization got too, what's the word? Too excited, too forward going, too reckless with genetic manipulation. And they made peaceful humans super smart, disconnected from emotions, able to shapeshift. But that continuous hybridization, making super nice human, super collective mind, yeah, high mind, went wrong, and it collapsed their collective biofield. So their genetics was messed up big way, and there was in their timeline, in the future there was no, there will be no, there was no, there is no good genetics for humans. It was, they went in the some timeline where humans weren't there. So apparently this research, and we are the most healthy of the predecessors. So they come here to pick up good genetics with good biofield, collective biofield. Why are we full of life? The main reason, David, if you can hear me fine, can you quiet down a little bit your speakers, because there is a bit of feedback, just a little bit.
Yep.
So why are we healthier? I think because first of the planet, our planet is super cool. It's super healthy. It has good biofield. Second, I think we are monkeys in many ways, and super selfish. And that selfishness is given a lot of energy. It's like yin and yang. You have to be nice, but also you have to take care of yourself. So this selfishness gives a lot of energy. And so it's a service to others and service to self. So the balance is very healthy at the moment. And sexy also. We are connected to the sexy energy. And the Greys, somehow they genetically remove the sexual life from their life, so they're sterile. They multiply in vitro, technologically, without giving birth, so in a tube. And that's sort of, they went synthetic way, technological synthetic, and we are still pretty natural. You can think about more things, reasons why we are full of life, but that's the main one. A lot of time we evolved naturally on the planet. So in addition to hybridization, we are descendants of the previous life on this planet, and we are sort of used to this life. So there is a lot of natives here. We are hybridized with natives. So this native life, it has is natural and full of Earth's harmony. So that's why they are full of energy. We are full of energy, and they need our genetics. And when they make hybrids, the hybrids are also pretty good. They're smart, they are telepathic, and also they are healthy. And the races we know for sure are Yael, which is Zeta human hybrid, and Shakani, Sasani, Shakani, which are also our descendants. And there is lots more races. Pretty much every alien race, lots of humanoid alien races hybridized with us. What question I was answering?
That was what would be the goals of alien hybridization?
Right. So that was one of the goals. The next goal is basically lots of alien races. They like to play the game on our planet. It became super dramatic, super interesting, and there is a lot of dangers here. The war, ecological collapse, planetary collapse, shifting of the poles, infectious weapons, AI is super interesting danger, genetical engineering dangers. I should talk about that more. Cloning humans. And at the same time, there is a lot of positivity. So there is like a lot of drama. And the control, there is a lot of us, and the fight for the control is also dramatic. So every alien race wants to play that. And the way to play, they cannot do it by just taking over the planet, because there is a galactic federation type of galactic government which doesn't allow them to take over the occupied planets. And also they cannot interfere with our affairs without the invitation. So they're waiting for the official invitation. But the first ones to come, again, by galactic rules, are the relatives. So they make themselves relatives by creating hybrid children down here, creating hybrid children up there. And the first people to come would be brothers, relatives, mothers, parents, and children from Earth inhabitants. And that would be the open door for, so there'll be a competition to play with us and maybe control us in some ways, but not every alien race wants to take charge, because that human society is very vulnerable, and taking charge of that is sort of a recipe for disaster. Pretty much, but very few alien races would be able to manage the planet. And the ones which will be able to manage the planet can do it in a very totalitarian way. So, and the planet, I don't think it is very, what's that word? Prone. It's not prone. It is has immunity against totalitarianism. I think the planet is the gene for the pattern for diversification is huge here. The planet wants to be diversified. Whenever there is a totalitarian system, it doesn't cover the whole planet. There is a balancing energy, balancing controls, forces that would break it and create a multipolar system. Like America is now cannot control the whole world. So again, there is a system which has multiple polarities, multiple poles, multiple centers of control. So that's interesting, and that's an interesting game, and lots of aliens want to play it. And obviously they just having fun with hybridization and having fun creating new civilizations. So like Yael are really like, that's their Yael and I guess Yael are especially are interested in doing that. They hybrids themselves, and they just create hybrids with all sorts of other races. They're good in that, and it's a lot of fun for them. So just like creating life is good. So it's like playing God. So that's many of them doing that.
Okay. Do you think it's a good time to study alien genetics? The timing's right.
Right. It's always a good time to study. Will we have a chance? I think that's the first time when there's such a public project is publicly proposed. And so far, I got unusually positive feedback. I rarely get that much of positive feedback from other people, especially from scientists. It looks like people love it, especially because of the combination of price and bang for the buck or efficiency of the investment. So I think everybody understands it's a good project to research, and now it looks like it probably wouldn't be suppressed that much. I don't see much resistance nowadays. Basically, there was a huge shift happened about a year ago, a bit over a year ago, maybe in the spring of the previous year, 2023, when the mass media controlled by, I don't know whom, by secret corporations, just changed the tone from actually making fun from extraterrestrials to more like allowing that possibility. They didn't go any further, but at least they're not making fun of us. And they're asking questions. Instead of answering questions, they're now asking questions. Is it for real? Like, what can be done? And is it dangerous? That's their favorite topic. So I'm sure there was some instruction delivered from above to change the tone. But now pretty much everything is seriously talking about extraterrestrial. Every mass media, television, and YouTube speakers. At least they are very far from accepting alien hybridization program. They're still talking about little dots in the sky on the military radars, but David Grush and Ross Coulthart, I think, and I forgot the name, and a few other great names. Richard Dolan, Stephen Greer, and lots of good names. They're pushing forward the disclosure. I think it's happening slowly, but it is happening. So I think it's not only public pushing. I think there is a control. The ones in control, they allow that. I think that there is a permission from the controlling party to gradually introduce some sort of disclosure. We have one guest, so Dilara, welcome.
Hi, Max.
Yay! If you want to ask questions, you're welcome.
I just joined. I don't know about what you are speaking. Sorry.
All right, I will repeat.
I will listen you. It's an interesting subject. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So all the information is on xg1.org. There is a research proposal. There is 14 ideas here on the proposal, and I will discuss the most relevant ones. And we already offering the service because we don't need to do the chemical analysis ourselves. We will do only bioinformatic analysis, which we know how to do. I have bioinformaticians which are ready to do the analysis. I hire them through Upwork as part-time workers. So it prompted me to change the language, and it does not for me English for some reason. I don't know. If I do nothing, what will happen? Oh, I did it. Okay. So anyway, so programmers are available, very qualified ones, and they work for very reasonable money. So I calculated, I already run a lot of projects of that kind of sequencing, genotyping, and bioinformatic analysis. I know exactly how much does it cost. I do it for hire, I do it for service for academic science, and I do my own research, and I do it very inexpensively. So For about $2 million, we can do all 40 names, analyze alien skulls, sequence of alien skulls, and analyze the genotypes and sequence of starseeds on this planet, and I have some other ideas. So the main proposition is for people to submit their DNA. For $300, they paid through PayPal or credit card online. The information comes to us. We send them, mail them the kit with a brush and a tube. They brush the cheek from inside, put the little brush in the tube, close it, put an envelope, mail it out. It goes to a standard lab, which does genotype in 500,000 SNPs. So point substitution. The genome is 6 billion letters, and some letters are substituted. So out of 6 billion, 500,000 is genotype. It's very cheap. So for us, it will cost about $100 to analyze. $100 out of 300. A third will be to do chemical analysis, and the other 2/3 will be to do the bioinformatic analysis. And for the starseeds, we already give them the information. We'll give them the information of what is unusual in their sequence. What if there is any trace of alien hybridization there? That's for one person. Now, the most interesting analysis would be for 3 people, whereas 2 parents and a child. And we know that for hybrids, that hybridization goes in families. So it started in around 1954. So especially it started with American military, and then it kind of spread. But it goes in families, and in each generation, there are basically the mother is taken, and sometimes the father is also taken. They take the parents' cells, hybridize with the alien parents. So there is like 2 Earth parents, 2 alien parents. So they become 4 grandparents, and create this grandchild, which has approximately 1/4 of the DNA from humans, 1/4 of DNA from aliens, or some other proportions, which we'll find out. But essentially, we expect to see some unusual transmission from the parents to the children. Like on this planet, it is classical, it's dogma, it's known forever that half of the genetic variants come from one parent, half comes from another parent. And it's never described that less than 50% would be transmitted from the parent to the child. And with alien hybridization, I predict that there will be less than 50%. Maybe it will be like 49% or whatever number. But with 500,000 SNPs, we will be able to see that not all these 500,000, 500,000 SNPs are transmitted, variants are transmitted from the parent. So the sum of the 2 parents I expect will be not 100%, but whatever number, 90%, 95, 99. We will have a very good statistical power to measure incomplete transmission, incomplete inheritance from the parents. That would be super easy and super cool to see. That would be a huge discovery that the hybrids have incomplete transmission from the parents. Even from one parent, we can measure that. So parent-child. So each sample $300. If people want to start the analysis now, we can start doing it now. And then I ask every starseed who submits the samples, I ask them to fill the questionnaire. I didn't post it, but the questions will be: do you know your alien parents or alien race? I will also ask for astrological information, essentially the time of birth and the date of birth. And tell me all history about your special abilities and your history of abductions and any paranormal events that happened to you. And we'll study all this information. And when we collect enough samples, we should be able to classify your DNA and mutations to variants coming from the zeta grays, from other grays like tall whites, from Pleiadians, from Errans, Mayans, Tarans, from Lyrans, Arcturians, reptilians, different types of reptilians, draconians, draco-reptilians, Anunnaki, Atlanteans, Lemurians. I think Syrians, yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Next up, you want me to go to the next question?
So the question was the motives of aliens, right? Yeah, some aliens just, that's their duty to help nations at that stage. So they do it just because of the duty. And obviously some want more of the genetics here, and then want to dominate the planet. Like there is a competition like for cooling down the planet and heating it up, cooling down, and reptilians generally like it warmer. So, you know, they kind of tweak their controls to make it warmer, and others cooling it down. So there is a competition for the planet and for our attention. But our collective will is respected. It's the main principle of the galaxy. So it's up to us to decide which aliens do we want.
Max, if your research uncovers evidence of alien genetic influence, what do you think the implications will be for our understanding of human history and evolution?
Right. Super cool. I wrote the first book, it was 2012. And I was bothered by the fact that we know for sure that we originated from Earth ancestors. And we are related to even plants here, like bacteria, like we have the same genes. We can clearly see the evolution tree that we are coming from this planet. There is a clear evolution tree, and we are right there. We're related to dogs, cows, elephants, anyone. We are here, we are locals. And at the same time, we are descendants of the aliens from ancient aliens. So that sort of bothered me. And basically, it doesn't, the explanation that ancient aliens interfered with our evolution doesn't answer the question of the origin of life. I mean, the origin of life is a different question. So I have the idea how it happened, and how the evolution was guided. But basically, what happens, I think, is that human evolution goes, like the life evolution on the planet goes its own way, and it's pretty fast, by the way. It's super fast. And also at the same time, there is constant injections of extraterrestrial genetics on this planet and interference by aliens. So they speed up and improve our evolution. Yeah, right now there is, for example, there is a lot of influences that mess up human genetics, and aliens bring cleaner genes and more harmony into the genome, and fractal patterns and periodic patterns, harmonious patterns in the sequence. And that allows us to become more spiritual, get psychic abilities, and have clearer mind and clearer connection to the spirit. So the main question is basically the mainstream question, which all of the mainstream scientists and just like any mainstream person should ask. Why don't we know about alien skulls where is the trace of Atlanteans, where is trace of ancient aliens? And second question is, why don't we know about the alien hybridization program, which is running right now and was running since 50s? And I don't think there is any way to avoid the conspiracy theory. There was conspiracy all the time, and especially since the last 100 years. There is a continuous editing of the history, editing of the archaeology, of culture, and removal of traces. There was a lot of traces. Even Blavatsky knew. Blavatsky in 1891 published The Secret Doctrine. She knew a lot about aliens, about ancient aliens, about Atlanteans, Lemurians. She was like fully knowledgeable. There was plenty of evidence even 140 years ago. And it was just wiped out. It was a censorship, wiped out from, consistently wiped out from the public knowledge. The information was removed. The skulls, the alien skulls, are hidden. And there are books, the research books, pretty serious investigations in archaeological censorship, where certain discoveries are removed from the public and the witnesses repressed. So there is no way around, and it continues until now. But I think what we are lucky to have now, I think that censorship is is reduced, and some of the information allows to come out. So we would bring that information about the ancient alien hybridization and modern alien hybridization, because again, one of the aims in the, which one? Number 9. Yeah, number 9. So basically, ancient alien skulls, and another item is compare there is that book. That's the book by David Reich, Who We Are and How We Got Here, Ancient DNA and the New Science of the Human Past. It's mainstream science, very advanced, very good, done by very honest scientist, David Reich. He studies how human ancestors transmitted their DNA and how populations moved around the planet. It's now possible to study with genetics. And he honestly describes the missing links and jumps of genes from one continent to another, so genetic markers. So for mainstream concept, it's just impossible to build a complete picture because there are some obvious inconsistencies in the human evolution. And now with understanding of ancient aliens, it's pretty easy to solve these mysteries, especially if we know that just from sudden jumps in evolution, we can see what genes were introduced by what markers and genes were introduced by the aliens. So it's possible to build a better explanation of the human history using genetics, just with a better model, which is more realistic.
So why doesn't mainstream science sequence alien DNA?
Okay, I think the mainstream, we are talking about only the public mainstream. I think the public mainstream, it's censored, and everyone, like all academic scientists, they know that it's a prohibited topic. They wouldn't come even close to it. And they're super well trained. Even the students know that. And the professors who already went through the whole brainwashing, they know it's not they're not allowed to touch because they will lose their funding. But I think the secret projects, they have the alien samples, and I'm sure they sequenced them. And aliens, obviously, the expert genetic engineers, they also know everything about their genetics. So it's only the mainstream which is which doesn't have it. And but we have it's now pretty accessible, so we can do it like as a public project. We can do it and publish it. Once it's published, it's a cat which is really hard to put back in the bag. The cat will be out of the bag.
Is there a way to collaborate with mainstream scientists?
Can you repeat?
Sorry. Is there a way to collaborate, you think, with mainstream scientists about this?
Let me think. One way is, I think, is super cool. One of the projects which I propose, sub-projects, is to test one of the hypotheses that there is a lot of what's it word? Just lost the word. Just a sec. A lot of spores, a lot of mushroom spores or some other spores in the space, especially on the higher orbit, not only from the planet but from other planets of the solar system. And that is now with Elon Musk and other space industry rockets. I think it's very easy to test, and you don't have to send anything out there to test it. You just need to now they have returnable systems, so when the returner just swipe the surfaces and measure the DNA, just sequence the DNA that comes back from the space, from the high orbit. The only problem is that when the rocket comes back, all the surface is burned, so all the DNA will be destroyed. It's like the temperatures are higher than DNA can tolerate. So we need to swipe the surfaces that are deployed there, but then before landing, they're hidden. This would be like solar panels, cameras, and thrusters that are then when the rocket lands, then they're hidden. So anything that is deployed and then imploded, put back pulled inside, and then we could collaborate with NASA or Musk or Blue Origin, with Bezos or any other systems, and we don't even have to touch the rockets. We can give them wipes. They would wipe their surfaces, provide us the wipes. We'll sequence the DNA just from the wipes. The only requirement is that they work in the gloves and use clean wipes, and even the wipes can be generic, so we don't need to give them anything. We just need to take the wipes, which are basically space dust. We need to collect the space dust and sequence it. And the hypothesis is that we'll discover something which is not present on this planet, which is flying in space. And the sensitivity of the DNA sequencing is exceptionally high. So we can find something. If there are 10 spores with identical sequence among 10 billion spores, we should be able still to find them. So if there is 10 billion of spores from the planet and there are 10 individual spores from the outside of the planet, we should be able to discover them.
So are there commercial applications of alien genetics?
Yeah, the first application I already proposed is that we can just provide the service. I think if 1% of Earth population are hybrids, they would be happy to sequence their DNA and discover their connections to the aliens. And I will give you an analogy. I'm coming from Soviet Union, and I was born 1964, so I lived through whole history from 64 to 86. When the system started crumbling, and when the country became, the walls became open, the country became open. So initially, having relatives abroad was punishable. So people liked that, but they didn't reveal that information. And that's hybrids revealing the information that they have alien relatives. See the parallel: Soviet people having relatives in Israel or in USA, or hybrid people here having relatives in among Pleiadians. Same thing. Right now, people might want to hide it, except the ones which are proud and free. So, but when the borders became open and the system became less repressive, then those people in it started in 70s and 75 to 85. Lots of people had relatives, they left. They were allowed to visit relatives or just leave. And also relatives were allowed to come starting from 86. So first came relatives, they would visit and the relatives were allowed in. So then it was a great benefit to have a relative abroad. So starseeds here who have alien relatives there, you'll be the first one to visit them out there. I think that's a super cool commercial application. So if you can prove that you have alien relatives, you might get even better treatment because most likely you have some special abilities.
Yeah. So, the next few questions.
Oh, just a sec. I just remember there is like,
okay.
I mentioned before, I'll just repeat that longevity. Aliens live way longer than humans. So if we discover genes for longevity or some genetic markers, or if we discover markers for sequences which are responsible for better thinking ability, IQ, mental ability, psychic abilities, shape-shifting, spiritual abilities, clairvoyance, that would be super cool. And that becomes also a product. So that's can be patented and then made into a product. And how I see the products, it could be genetically engineering products, so you can modify yourself or your children to make them better. You can also, once you know how it works, I think those codes can be put into the devices, and you can have some helmets or bracelets or some other devices that would allow you to connect to certain abilities. So I think that it's alien technology kind of to enhance your ability using technology. And we are working on that. Some of that already exists, like Google 9-volt Nirvana, 9-volt Nirvana. It's already like an alien technology available to anyone.
Well, it sounds amazing, Max. So the next couple of questions are more in the commercial side of things. So what's your business model? I think you sort of covered that a bit. How much would it cost and how soon can you do that? And is it a public or a commercial project?
Right. Right now, we have 3 paths to go, 3 paths going in different directions. One is we don't need any investments, not any money. If people start just ordering the service for $300 to analyze their DNA, that might just be enough to sustain the research. So just by providing the service to Starseeds, we would be able to learn a lot and publish a lot. It's a slow process, but I think it's quite doable. We don't need any investments. And if there is any investor, I think for 2 million we can do the whole 14 names and discover things, patent things, and create some products. So that is a commercial startup idea. And when I say 2,000 is if you do it economically, it's just 2,000 for research, not without a lot of overhead. Just to it's like for 6 people do bioinformatics work essentially, and service and one is doing like managing the one person we need to manage the samples to come in, questionnaires and talk to the customers, and for bioinformaticians purely analyzing the data. And then there is a public opportunity. If there is any fund that wants to fund us just to make it a research project, that would be great too. So it's a non-profit. And I heard about 3 potential sources for that. One is connected to Roscoolhart. It's some sort of coalition. I forgot the full name. Another one, just Google Extraterrestrial Research Foundations. And the third one, I think if the History Channel wants to fund that research, that would be super cool. Like Ancient Aliens. So we'll help them to do the genetic analysis and do that. There is always a question, why do they need to use our service, my service, and why can't they go their own way and do it themselves? I think if they could do it themselves, I don't mind. I don't have a sense of property of that, except I have a unique experience in understanding genomics and alien hybridization program and Ancient Aliens. I wrote books. I was thinking about that for many years. And also I am researching the resonance genomics or resonance code of DNA. And my group is the only one which does that. So you cannot really understand how the alien hybridization works without understanding the resonance.
Sorry, darling. I'm just talking up and Max on the camera. You okay?
So you have to understand the resonance to understand how the aliens modify the DNA. Essentially, there is 5% of the protein coding genes. So when scientists say genes, they are studying protein coding genes, mainstream scientists. But there is 95% which is not coding for proteins, which is called the junk DNA. And in this junk DNA, there is 55% of the genome which is repetitive, sequences repeating over and over, transposons. Like baby shark, you repeat do 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 do, baby shark, baby shark. So that's repeat, repeat, repeat. That text is repeated millions of times. Half of our genome is repetitive, and pretty much very, very few people are studying repetitive part because it's hard, and people just like to study something that is easy. So the alien modifications, alien hybridization would go, I'm certain, in the repetitive part of the genome. And without knowing that, having that special knowledge how to study the repetitive part, the mainstream scientists will get nowhere. It's more expensive to study repetitive part. So it's costs $300 to analyze the genotyping markers, but it costs $3,000 to analyze, actually $3,500 to analyze the whole sequence, including repetitive, the whole genome sequence, including the repetitive. And it is done with a long read sequencing. It's a pretty new technology. That's how much it costs, but that's why I'm saying $2 million. It's not because I want a lot of money. It's just because how much it costs. But for $2 million, it is possible to study a lot of samples using long reads and look at the repetitive part and find this lots of small substitutions introduced by the aliens. And that's where the answer is. And that's like all this mental and psychic abilities, they are there. And then from there you develop the tools to make it to apply it in a positive direction. I think I answered the question, although I forgot the question, but I think I answered it. Dilara, do you have any questions? Just a sec, Dave.
Да, можно только я на русском спрошу вас?
Ага.
Мне интересно, вот если вы, например, вот эту часть, как матрица или как она называется по-вашему, вычислите, да, например, я вам отправлю этот DNA свой, ну, на анализ. И можно ли потом с этим звуком восстановить полностью свое здоровье, например?
Okay, the question was if we can, if Dilara submits the DNA, we return the information what we found in the DNA. Can she use that for therapy, for healing? And the simple answer is that in this project, I didn't think about therapeutic applications just yet. It's not something that I immediately ready to offer. I studied a lot of therapeutic devices because of resonance of DNA, and I can give advice on that, non-medical advice. I'm a PhD doctor, not a medical doctor. But I don't have immediate product that I could offer for therapy. I have how do you say, co-founded a company which does make therapeutic devices, but it doesn't, it's related to DNA, but we cannot just take alien codes and insert there. That part is not discovered yet. But once we have it discovered, then we have funding to convert it to therapy, then yes. So not immediately, but in the future, of course, it's super related. I have essentially, I know how to do that. There is a device that I have in a garage. I invented it. It's pretty inexpensive to make, but I would try it first on something safe like mice and worms rather than on humans before. I wouldn't even try it on myself. It's, if it works right as I think, it would be dangerous to try it on humans right away, because if something is powerful, it can go either way. So I would rather make it perfect it first and then try it on humans. But yeah, there is a technology that I want to that could use the discovered sequences. Yes, it's doable. It's like another 5 million, maybe 2 million, and then another couple of years of work, and we can then go move to human trials. And the path is pretty open. It's not prohibited by pharmaceutical industry because it is wave therapy. So they're pretty relaxed about wave therapy. It's not many prohibitions. There is even a special permission where they explicitly permit certain waves to be used. So I think we fall in the category which is under that explicit permission to do that.
Well, thank you very much.
Sure.
Thanks.
Hey, Dave. I think I'm
Max,
already getting tired a bit, but let's go do like a couple more questions.
Yeah, I really think you're going to, some futuristic investors, like venture capitalists, investors, will see the business opportunity there, and they might just jump on board.
Yep.
But
especially if they are starseeds.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially Pleiadian, Sirian, Arcturian.
Well,
yeah, yellow, our favorites.
Well, Elon Musk, he'd be one of the candidates.
No. Elon Musk is an Orion starseed, and I don't mind doing research with him. It's really tough. You need to have a lot of health to do it, mental health. But he doesn't. Actually, I think I would be fine. Yeah, even Elon Musk. If anybody wants to do introduction to Elon Musk, I'm open. But keep in mind, Elon Musk never invests. Have you ever heard that Elon Musk invested in something? No, he only owns things.
Yeah,
so he starts project that he owns. But I don't mind to work for Elon Musk under his guidance. I think he's pretty enlightened.
He's a bit of a success story.
No, he's great. Yeah. All his projects are great, and even Twitter, even AI projects, I think are super good.
Yeah.
So this mental, I forgot the name of that, where they put the implants into humans and monkeys.
Neuralink.
Neuralink, I think, is is right to the point. That's where eventually you don't even have to have an implant. It's only will be the waves. And for that, they need to know the DNA resonance code, which I'm discovering. So I can collaborate on that. But basically, Elon Musk doesn't collaborate. He owns things. So, but I don't mind to develop under Musk because he brings it to the public. It's not secret development. He just makes it into a good product and sell it. I think it's good. I'm open to that. Just don't think that he will invest in us. He would create his own company and hire us. That's what he would do. And I think that's would be fine.
Yeah, he does that.
Yep.
So I'll just move on into a couple more questions, Max. How would you find workers to do this research?
Just put the word out, and I'm about to create some groups, Facebook groups, and some Google email groups, and we'll just put the word out. I think we need only Starseeds. I tried hiring people who are pretending to be believing, but they never actually didn't believe, and that just doesn't work. You have to have a believer.
What about scientists to assist you, Max?
Bioinformaticians, I think there is a lot of enlightened bioinformaticians.
All right, okay, that's good. So is it dangerous to do this research?
We'll find out. So far, I feel that as long as we are playing it right, cool, we don't threaten anyone. We are playing alone. That research is in the interest of aliens, of humans, of secret corporations, of everyone. And it's, I think as I see, they don't mind that research if it gives them money and income and doesn't destroy their systems. And I think that research is not aimed to destroy anything, but to help everyone. Also, they like research which is self-funded. So if they don't need to invest anything, if we sort of raise money from the public, they are just fine. They will benefit from the secret rulers of the world. They will benefit from that by learning. I don't think they know much. I think they don't. Their scientists are not smart enough to study the hybrid. So we'll study ourselves and we'll publish it. So we'll benefit from that as well. The danger, which I want to prevent, is that collective biofield collapse in the zeta grays species. We are facing that danger because we already started manipulating genetics in humans. It is started unofficially by secret like China, Russia, secret military projects there. They create super soldiers. Putin even mentioned that in public. And here there is already in vitro fertilization. So when they create in vitro fertilization, they create like, say, 10 embryos, and then they pick one to implant back to the mother. And they do genetic analysis. They pick the one they like. So at that stage, it's possible to do genetic manipulation. And I think people are trying to do that. It's one Chinese scientist already did it officially and published it, and he was reprimanded for that. But it's technically it's already possible. So we're very close to genetic manipulation, official genetic manipulation in the open. And also there is a lot of unofficial manipulation through viruses. It's possible just to modify people's DNA through viruses and through vaccines. So that is already, again, unofficially already is happening. So and genetic manipulation of the plants and animals is already full steam going. We already like pretty much all the produce here is genetically manipulated, except organic, but I doubt organic is that native, that natural. So at least non-organic is freely genetically manipulated. So that is gradually leading the society, the collective biofield to a collapse. By discovering the vibrational genetics, we need to bring into the collective consciousness the idea, the understanding that there is a need for genetic ecology, genetic manipulation ecology. So not everything should be permitted to be manipulated, especially when they manipulate, they don't pay attention to the repetitive regions and they mess them up. So there should be a harmony in the repetitive regions, fractal and periodic and harmonious patterns, which are super important. And so that should be restored, not destroyed. So my big warning is that we should bring to the collective understanding that vibrational harmonious nature of DNA should be respected of the genome.
How can you protect the results, Max?
Oh, just publishing as widely as possible, sending everywhere by email and publishing on many sites.
Okay.
Oh no, I think the question was how to protect the subjects. And that's another question. So subjects, some are crazy enough like me that go public and talk about their alien roots and connections and do light languages. That's our crowd. And I don't think they are that cautious about hiding. And so the others, they work mainstream jobs and they probably don't want their information leaked out. So it is possible to hide some of the information. For example, I'm thinking about asking people to submit their samples under fake names, presumed names, fictitious names. So we don't know what are their real names. We still would know their emails and some other information, but not actually. And because we mail to them the samples to their street address, we'll know their street address. So I don't know how to, basically we'll have to know, but we want in our databases, once we receive the data, we probably want to wipe out the street address and not to keep it. So if anybody steals our data, then they wouldn't reconstruct, they would have the genotypes, but they wouldn't have the actual names and street addresses, something like that. So probably we could separate the street addresses in one database and have all the other research in other database, and the link should be like kind of severe. So once the data come in, we don't really care about the street addresses and names, but they should be able, we would have their like IDs or email, so they could get information from us as we develop our research, where they would get the updated information more and more. But we would try to keep their identity anonymous. Basically, that can be improved by having more of intermediate kind of mediator, which keeps that anonymity, so we don't know. Like we can hire some other company which would keep everything secret and destroy it. That is possible to build. It just costs extra money to build a security layer between us and the people. But also, you guys, Starseed should realize whenever you submit your blood samples to the hospital, they can easily do the DNA analysis and can analyze anything. So it's not a big secret for whoever wants to learn your DNA sequence. So it's only the question of time as everyone's DNA sequence will be in a database. I think it's pretty much as what's this guy's name? I keep blanking on it. Who revealed the secret information? Snowden, Edward Snowden. So he revealed the secret information that CIA and associated secret companies, secret industry, they collect all the information, all the video information everything that is listened on the phones, they already have that in the databases. It's all collected and transcribed, so they have all of that. He revealed it about just a bit over 10 years ago. So I'm not surprised, I will be not surprised if another Snowden would reveal that all the DNA sequence information for all people on the planet is already in the database. So once it's revealed, then there is no point of keeping your information secret. I think we are already under very high level surveillance. So I wouldn't sweat that much. I wouldn't invest a lot of money in the secrecy, but the basic things we will do. Basic things we will do.
How could artificial intelligence help alien genetics research?
Oh yeah, I think ChatGPT and open source AI systems like GPT systems, and there is Cloud3 Opus, and there is U.com and several others, and Gemini. I think it's super cool. I love this development. I don't believe that this AI that is shown to us is the ultimate AI. I think the AI which is in secret industry, I think they have way more advanced. We just are given only something for the public consumption, but it's super useful, and basically it can be installed locally, so you can fully control it. And I think it would help us to analyze the sequences, and it will help us. We'll use it to analyze to do the interviews, analyze the interviews. Basically, we will firewall it so it wouldn't leak out, but I think for internal use, we'll use it. And another thing was that now the public opinion is gradually shifting to the opinion of the AI. So our goal is not to convince the public that we are real, that the Starseeds are real and alien hybridization project is real. We need to convince AI that it is real. Right now, ChatGPT and Cloud3 Opus, they kind of they don't believe in it. But if I say that I believe, they kind of comply, but they help me with my thinking, but they are not convinced. But once we provide the evidence, they are much more logical than humans. So if there is enough evidence, they become convinced. So I think our goal is to convince the AI that we are real, and then the public opinion will shift.
So you mentioned before about the secret projects. How much do you think that they know about extraterrestrial genetics?
Can you explain your question?
How much do you think the secret projects know about extraterrestrial genetics?
Right. I think they sequenced. It's very cheap to sequence, very easy. It's obvious. But I don't think they understand the fractal patterns. I sort of see there is some leakages of information from there, and I don't think they are into vibrational genetics yet. The aliens are certainly in the vibrational genetics, but the secret industry, I think they're still operating on the old paradigm of genes being important, protein coding genes, and they don't look in repetitive patterns in DNA and fractals. I think that that is still to be discovered by the mainstream and by the secret industry.
Okay, Max, could you explain to everybody what is junk DNA?
Yeah, I think I already did. 5% of the genome out of 6 billion letters is the protein coding genes. They make proteins, and everything else is not making proteins. It's called junk DNA. And out of that, 5% of the genome is repetitive DNA. It's made out of sequences which are not simple repeats, not like do. They are distributed seemingly randomly and in different orientations. And the most popular ones in our genome are two sequences called ALU and line 1. My favorite two repeats. There is million of ALUs making 11% of our genome. 11%, the main gene in the genome is 11% ALU sequence. And another line 1 is, I think, 14% of the genome. So these are two main players in the genome. And within that, there is a lot of variation. So we need to look right there, and that requires full genome sequencing with load reads, and then we will be able to read it and analyze. That's why we need qualified bioinformaticians, which will be able to analyze that.
Okay, thanks for that. What do you think the point of sequencing alien genes if the aliens already know the sequence?
Right. But they didn't tell us. We just
Yeah.
want to know for ourselves. And the point is to awaken to our alien identity. And not only for hybrids, but for all humans, that we are ancient alien hybrids. And that will make us less alienated to aliens, less averse to open contact. Right now, humans are not all humans want to join the Galactic Federation, but like in Soviet Union, I lived through this opening of the borders, and for us, it was such a wonderful moment of truth. A lot of truth was discovered. The country was opened up, and there was a lot of visitors. We went out, so I think the same future expects the planet when the planet will open up to the galaxy. Basically, all the aliens want is an official invitation. So when official leaders of the planet invite the aliens, they will come right away. So the goal of the research is to awaken the population to that. And when we see for real that we see alien markers, I think that's a lot of joy. Once you know what to look for, you can easily analyze it. You don't have to use our service. You can analyze it in any lab. There are like thousands of labs that can do analysis.
Well,
Not
I think you
thousands,
answered that.
More like a million of labs.
Yeah. I think that was the last question I had there, Max. So
Sounds great.
yeah.
Then we are officially closing up. So if anybody didn't watch from the very beginning, you can find a lot of information on XG1, extraterrestrial genetics 1.org. And I will post there the links to the groups. I'm starting the groups on Facebook. I already started actually the group. I just didn't post that link to the group. But I posted it on my wall on Facebook, and welcome to join it. So Dilara and David joined the XG1 group on Facebook. You'll find it on my page, on my wall on the Facebook. And the viewers will do more webinars. I will start the YouTube channel, and I'll start some other video channels. And I want to create a community of people working on the project. It's for public good, and I hope that lots of starseeds will join us. And even if you're not a starseed, you're an ancient hybrid, we welcome anyone, especially aliens. Like if any aliens are around, that would be super cool. Yeah, I know for sure there are some aliens here, and some of the aliens look very human, so you cannot tell until you feel the energy.
Wow.
That's very interesting. Thank you very much for interesting interview. It
Thank
was
you.
very informative, and I would like to make that test.
Oh, really? Yeah, we have
Yeah.
the first volunteer, first
Yeah.
customer.
So
Super
I'll
good. Just
definitely volunteer mine too, Max.
great. So just go to the website, submit the payment, and I will start rolling the thing. I will organize sending you the envelope, and with the DNA test kit. It's a brush and a tube, and then you will mail it to the lab, and we'll receive the data, and we'll analyze the data. Ideally, it would be a parent-child pair or two parents-child. That would be ideal. Then we'll test the incomplete inheritance. That would be super cool to analyze.
Right.
We will think about that.
Sounds great. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Sure. I think, yeah.
Nice to meet you, Dilara.
Nice to
Nice
meet you.
to meet you с вами too.
Nice talking to you, Max.
All right. With that, I will close in the seminar, the webinar. Goodbye, everybody. You know how to find us.